Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today is a fun day. It is like Christmas morning for the gardener. I am standing here in the production facility, potting machine behind me. Can you see all of those beautiful boxes? I received almost 30 trial perennials from our friends at Proven Winners. Yes, it is crazy. It is great. Of course, we have a great relationship with our friends at Proven Winners and the folks at Walters Gardens. Walters Gardens is the perennial nursery that grows and develops all of the perennials for Proven Winners. So if you have a Proven Winner perennial, it originated back there at Walters Gardens. So every time about this year, our friends at Proven Winners will send us perennials that are coming out onto the market. I will say some of these you may be able to find at your independent garden center, and then some are going to be coming out in the next year or so. We do have a couple of these available at Creekside Nursery. You can go to gardeningwithcreekside.com if you're interested in those, and I'll say which ones we have and which ones we don't have. Just know that I am this is a little bit of a teaser, a whetting of your appetite for spring, summer, fall, and things to come. Yes, I think it was 27 different varieties of the Proven Winner perennials that we are going to pot up, and then we're going to grow them out, add them to the gardens as they become ready. So much fun. I have not grown any of these in the garden, hence they are new. They are trials for us. It's not like I am trialing them. They're going to be in the Proven Winner line. They are in the Proven Winner line. However, here at Creekside Nursery, we are trialing them because it's what I love about our relationship with Proven Winners is that they send us plants that may or may not do well for us because, of course, we are in North Carolina, a Zone 8A, right? And so there are going to be perennials, shrubs, annuals that thrive better in different conditions. We are not universalist gardeners, right? Each of our gardens is unique and different in its own. So what may grow, bloom, and thrive in Michigan may struggle here in North Carolina because of our heat, humidity, long growing season, and what have you. That's the great thing, is that I get to put my hands on these plants. I get to trial them. I get to see how they grow here in the greenhouse for us because we are a grower retailer. We grow the plants and then sell them to our customers. All the plants that Proven Winners sent to us, these are either small like liners or they are small bare roots. I get to see them and Jerry gets to figure out how they grow for us. These are not big, huge, massive, full mature plants that I'm going to stick in the garden. I may be getting some of those later on in the season, but we really want to know how are they going to grow for us in these conditions. And then I put them in the garden. The great thing again is they send me five of every different plant. I will then put them in various locations, especially if they're ones that are new for me, a new plant, a new genius, right? I want to really test it. If it says full sun, will it do full sun, or does it need more shade for me, or does it need complete shade? All of those things. That way then when we are successful and these plants do really well for us, I can then come to you gardener to gardener and say, listen, I'm in North Carolina Zone 8A. This plant was rock solid and just did great. Or I could say this one was a little bit more on the border for us, a little bit more tender, and this is my advice for you because I am very open about my successes and my messes. Am I going to kill some of these plants? Probably so, because I am going to be pushing them to their limits, especially those ones that are on the border for me, because I really want to see what they can do and what they can handle. That is the teacher coming out in me because I want to give you the best information that I possibly can so that you are successful in your garden. What I'm going to do is, Jerry has everything kind of set up for me, sweet man that he is. We are going to be planting all of these in quart containers. The only one that may go in a gallon is I have a Baptisia, and if you're familiar with the Baptisia rootstock from Walters Gardens, they can be quite healthy and developed. Don't think I'm going to be able to squeeze it into a quart. So everything's going to go into the quart, probably except those Baptisias. I'm going to I'm just going to pot up and enjoy my time here in the greenhouse nice and quiet. Once everything is in their containers, then I'm going to come back through and show you all the different varieties and throw up a couple of pictures. There's not a ton of pictures for these plants because they are brand new. It takes a little while, right, to get a huge library of photos. So I may have like only 2 pictures per plant. Just go with it, folks, right? We will put up all the names and the tags and all the information so that way you can then explore a little further. Grab your gardening journal, get comfy, get your favorite beverage, and let's have fun discovering the new perennials from Proven Winners that are going to be hitting the market soon. All right, my friends, so I got all of the trial plants potted up, and I tell you, it was more plants than I thought I had, but I've got them laid down right here in the production greenhouse. This is the first plants in the new production greenhouse. Yay! So what we're going to do is I'm going to just kind of walk through. There's a lot of plants, so I'm going to move really quickly. Remember, this is kind of an overview of those new plants. I will put up the tag for you so you can see the name, and then, like I said, there's probably only going to be like 1 or 2 pictures per plant. So you're just going to bear with me. Again, we are being introduced to these brand new perennials. They all are proven winners. The ones that I'm going to talk about right now are all proven winners. Walters did send me some of their branded new plants, and so we're going to do a different video on that simply because they're so brand new. I have no tags and they're not even on their website yet. So I want to make sure that I can give you that full information when that time is available so that you can see that, because there's a couple in there that are very, very intriguing, and I am excited to see how they do. I know that you're going to love them as well. Speaking of, because these are so brand new, most of these are not going to be on the Proven Winners website. If you want to get some more information, because again, this is going to be, I'm just kind of glossing over and introducing these to you. This is not an in-depth video with all the specs on these plants. You can go to waltersgardens.com. That is their website. Just keep in mind that Walters is a wholesale grower, so they do not sell to like individual customers, homeowners, home gardeners. You have to be a grower in order to purchase from them, but you can go and look on the website, look them up by the name, and you will see all of the great information there. Just know that it comes from a grower's perspective and not maybe necessarily the home gardener's perspective. All right. Now, some of these are going to be new additions to existing lines of perennials, and some of these are going to be like brand new plants that Proven Winners has never offered before. So I have my phone because I took pictures of the tags, so we're just going to go through it this way. First one is the Luminary Phlox. This is Luminary Pink Lightning. I'm a huge fan of the Luminary series. We have like ultraviolet, opalescence. So you're going to have Pink Lightning. It is still going to be that full to part sun, and it's going to be about that 3 feet tall. These are wonderful sun-loving plants. They're more resistant to powdery mildew, and that Pink Lightning is going to be like a true, nice, beautiful pink shade. It is going to be fantastic. Now, this is powdery mildew resistant, so it needs consistent water. In the past, I have had a little bit of issue with some powdery mildew, even on my Luminary Phlox. It was because they were under stress and actually not getting enough water. Because we had plenty of water, then it went that's hot and dry, and they got mildew. I cut them to the ground. They came back with beautiful, fresh new foliage of no powdery mildew, and were stunning. So I'm excited to add this Pink Lightning to the Luminary line. Next, we have a heliopsis, sunflower family. This is Touch of Blush. It is going to be a really fun one because it has a variegated foliage on it, but those traditional little small sunflower blooms that we know of. It is called Touch of Blush because the foliage will actually have little hints of pink in it. So it makes sense, right? With the blush, you have little hints of pink. Heliopsis is definitely a full sun, part sun, and this is going to be about 18 to 20 inches tall. Nice and tight and compact, okay? So if you're used to the other heliopsis within the Proven Winners line, this is going to be maybe a little bit shorter, compact, and then covered in flowers. And if you're a fan of variegated foliage, then Touch of Blush is going to be a great one for you. Now, next we have a spider's wort. This is Webmaster. Oh my goodness, love this. And I believe this is going to be, I could be wrong, but I think this is the first spider wort in the Proven Winners line. Of course, with this, it can do sun or shade. Find that they tend to like a little bit of a damper area, and this is going to be about 16 inches tall. What was really fun about what Walters did is they sent me both this plant as both a bare root and as a liner. So I have some that already has foliage, and then I have some that is, dormant and just is the bare root. But Webmaster is going to be a nice kind of a light lavender color. It's not going to be as rich, deep, dark purple as maybe some of the other ones that we are used to. So Webmaster, it's cute, let me tell you. And it has got some really pretty nice thick foliage. Before I even saw what the name was and I just opened up the box, it almost reminded me foliage wise of a daylily. So nice, deep, dark foliage with that pretty lavender blue flower on it. It's going to be great. Achillea, right? Yarrow. Proven Winners has a great line, the Firefly line. We've talked about these before, like Firefly Sunshine is yellow, Firefly Peach Sky. Well, there's two new colors in the Firefly series. The first one is fuchsia. She lives up to her name. She is going to be these beautiful, rich fuchsia pink flowers. As they age, they're going to turn a little bit of more of a paler color. So on that same plant, you're going to have that little bit of an ombre effect of different colors. Yarrow, of course, and the Firefly Sunshine, the Firefly series that includes Sunshine is going to be a very tight, upright yarrow. Yarrows in the past get a bad rap because they get real floppy. a windstorm comes and they fall over, they can spread too much and be invasive in your garden. Not the Firefly series. And as another side note, when you're thinking about attracting pollinators to your gardens, especially like your butterflies, you need big open flowers. And that yarrow, that firefly fuchsia, and all the other fireflies definitely fit that bill because they have nice big landing pad, shall we say, for your butterflies. This is going to be obviously nice, lots of full sun, and about 2 feet tall. So check out firefly fuchsia. If you don't like pink, maybe you like to go a little hotter, get like a little red, well, then there is also the firefly red pops. This is going to be a gorgeous, nice red color. The rootstock on this thing was massive. I tried to put it in a quart. Well, I looked at putting it in a quart and I was like, it is not happening. So you'll notice there are some gallons over here because the rootstock from that Walter sent me was just so massive. So that red pop is going to be same characteristics, tight, upright, nice, strong, sturdy stems, but in your red family. Now, hostas. Proven Winners is really famous for their hostas. It is called, the series is Shadowland. So you'll see Shadowland and then fill in the blank for the actual cultivar. Fun one, Sound of Music. So Sound of Music is a beautiful, really kind of what we call corrugated. So it has a lot of texture on the leaf. Nice, big, huge, fat leaves. This plant is going to be about 30 to 32 inches tall, and it is going to be nice and wide. More on the blue side of the hostas, and then in the center, you're going to have some nice lightning color, a little bit of a chartreuse color, and beautiful white flowers on Sound of Music. Then we also have Shadowland Gigantosaurus. I think the name probably speaks for itself. This is going to be a big one, y'all. It is going to be giant. It is going to be 30 to 32 inches tall, but huge, wide. With your hostas, if you are like me and you live in a hot, humid climate, it's probably going to be hard for us to reach the full maturity size of these hostas. It is simply because of our climate. The nights that are hot and humid in the summer kind of tend to hold back the growth on our hostas. I can go up an hour and a half up the road to the Blue Ridge Mountains into Blowing Rock, and there are, hostas bigger than my body if I laid down. Their temperatures are cooler, drier, their nights cool off. Therefore, they can grow hostas in full sun and they get huge. So just keep that in mind. But Gigantosaurus, if you're looking for a big one, then this is going to be a great one. It kind of reverses the color of the Sound of Music. Still those corrugated leaves, and it's going to be darker in the center with a beautiful outline in that kind of that yellowy to the white family on that one. And then last but not least, we have Shadowland Lone Star. Lone Star is going to be a little bit on the smaller side, but still a nice big presence in your garden. Beautiful kind of elongated leaves on that, darker green on the center, and then a beautiful edging around that. So definitely have lots of choices when you come to hostas and Proven Winners. So excited to look at those and see how they do in our gardens. Next, we have the new series. We've talked about this here before on Gardening with Creekside, but Delosperma, hardy ice plant. Really fun because they have 4 bold colors that they are going to be offering here at Proven Winners. So the first one is, the series is called Kaleidoscope, so just kind of keep that in mind. So it is Kaleidoscope Dancing Embers. Dancing Embers is going to be a really bright red with a white center. Ice plants, of course, are notoriously tough plants. They love the sun. They love dry conditions. It is an evergreen. It's a beautiful ground cover, only 2 to 4 inches tall, and then it will spread out. So the Dancing Embers is going to give you a really bright red with a white eye. Next, we have Pink Radiance. Pink Radiance is going to be on a softer side, right? It's going to be in those lavender purples. You're going to be in your pinks. So if you're more in the purple family, then you might want to look at Pink Radiance. Then we have one of my personal favorites, Razzle Dazzle. Razzle Dazzle, again, really nice, big, bold colors on it. It's going to be more in that pinky red with a fuchsia center. White eye, great color to it. If you're looking for an explosion of color, then these kaleidoscope delospermas are going to be perfect for you. And then the last one we have is the orchid blush. So again, more in that purple color for you, a nice lavender orchid color. So we tend to go, if you're like big and bold and like those colors, or maybe you like them a little more softer. So there's lots of options for you on that. Next, we have a new series from Proven Winners again. So this is, and I am not familiar with this plant, so I could be actually butchering the name. The scientific name is campanula. There we go, campanula. There are 3 different colors in the series. I only got one. I have the tags for all 3, so I'm not sure what happened on that one. But, so the one that I have, I'm going to go ahead and just give you all of the names and let you kind of see the difference on them. But these are going to be nice, small. So the whole series is called the Mini Marvels. They're going to be nice and petite, only 6 to 8 inches tall. And they're going to be in that full sun to part sun growing environment. The first one is Starbright. Starbright, of course, is that nice, beautiful, clear white color. And I will say that when I was looking at these, my friend Kata, right, who works for Walters, she is our rep, and she told me that these mini marvels may not do well for us because of that heat and humidity in the summer. And even on Walters' website, it encourages us in the south to put it in more of a shadier condition. But when it's in that small size, it will work perfectly on the front of your border, right? So if you're looking for a nice little small ground cover with some pops, these mini marvels might be a good option for you. So you got Starbright, and then we have Twilight. Twilight, nice, kind of that lavender color, really softer on your colors. And then we have the next one is, my phone is not cooperating, y'all. Here we go. Oh, Midnight. So Midnight, a little bit of a darker color. So a little bit on that darker side of your purple. So lots of nice, cool colors there. Baptisia. Huge fan of the Proven Winners Baptisia because these are stunning plants. They are low maintenance. They're spring bloomers, like late spring, early summer bloomers, and they bring such beautiful color and texture to the garden. So what they have is they have improved the vanilla cream. So we have Decadence Vanilla Cream 2. Now what makes the Vanilla Cream 2 different than vanilla cream is that it is going to bloom a little bit earlier, and you're going to get repeat blooms on it. So you're going to get a second flush. You're going to get a third flush. So you're going to have earlier blooms, and they're going to bloom for a longer period of time. Of course, vanilla cream, that nice, real soft, kind of that creamy white color. Great structure in your garden. Definitely going to be a full sun. And Baptisia, it has really deep roots. So if they traditionally do not transplant well, so if you have, when you're thinking of it, you really need to look at the size and make sure that you're going to give it plenty of room to grow. And if you need to move something, maybe you move what's around it and not your Baptisia, because, oh my gosh, the root systems on Baptisia, that's what makes it so drought tolerant and long-lived, is because their roots go forever. They don't pop up, but the mound just gets bigger, but extremely long-lived perennials. So just make sure that you know exactly where you want it and that you plant accordingly. Vanilla Cream 2 is going to be about 42 inches tall. Next, this one I'm really excited about because I have told you in the past I'm a little leery on perennial salvias. I love Pink Profusion. This one has piqued my interest. This is Living Large Big Sky. By its name, it is going to be a very nice size salvia. Gorgeous foliage on it. Stunning blue flowers. Really tall, like upright, sturdy, strong stems. The foliage on it itself is going to be a little bit bigger than what we think of our traditional perennial salvias. Salvias, of course, are going to be in that full sun. They are deer resistant, rabbit resistant, because they have that kind of that herbaceous smell when you crush it. So if you have critter problems, you might want to try perennial salvias, and even annual salvias in general. They tend to be more rabbit deer resistant. Now, this is going to be 28 to 32 inches tall. Gorgeous color on it. And then, of course, those blues are huge attractors for your pollinators. So I'm excited about this one to see how well it does. Next, brand new. I had no experience with this plant whatsoever. This is cotton candy. I am intrigued very much, though, by its foliage. Cotton candy, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. You can look at the tagging. You people who are smarter than me, you can tell me your experience, if you have any experience with this particular plant, right? This genius of a plant. It is going to be a full to part sun, but what I'm really intrigued about is the foliage on this, because it came as a liner and it's got beautiful foliage. As Cece was here helping fill up some pots for me, she said it reminds you of a maidenhair fern. So if you're familiar with a maidenhair fern and its foliage, but it's a lot bigger. Absolutely gorgeous. Walters says that this makes a great cut flower. Obviously, it's going to have those really tall, upright flowers on it. Nice, soft pink, cotton candy color. This is going to be really interesting. So I'm intrigued to see how this does and put this in multiple areas throughout the gardens. Kind of push the limits on this to see how it does here in North Carolina. Without a doubt. I know that these are going to do great in North Carolina. We have got some Stokes asters. This is going to be a new series that is introduced from Proven Winners. The series is called Totally Stoked. Great, right? And there are going to be 3 colors initially what we had in here. First, we have white caps. Obviously, a beautiful, pure white flower on this. Stokes asters are native to the Southeast United States. These are going to do great. I am not worried about this at all. Definitely going to be in your full sun. So that means you need to have at least 6 hours or more. And what I do like about them too is that they're going to be more petite. Only about 2 feet tall. So depending on your flower bed, you can put it in the front of your flower bed or the middle. But these are going to be very long blooming perennials, native. That is like, you know, it used to be that the pollinator was the buzzword. Now it's natives. Natives are really becoming very popular right now. So these Stokes asters are going to be great. The next color that we have is Totally Stoked Riptide. Really nice in that more of a true blue flower, that blue with a little bit of purple in there, right? And I love them because of their flowers. Like they're like a double frilly flower, just gorgeous. And of course, because it is native, you're going to have more deer resistant, rabbit resistant, and your pollinators are going to absolutely love this plant. There was actually 2. I think I said 3. There was only 2 in that series. Now, we've talked about these 2 before. We actually have these online. 2 new penstemons from Proven Winners. They already had 1, but this is going to be brand new, and it's going to be a new series. This is the Bejeweled series. So in Bejeweled, we have the rose rhinestones. Gorgeous color, really vibrant color to it. Penstemons love the full sun. They're going to be 14 to 16 inches tall. And then the next one that we have in that series is the pink pearls. Pink pearls is going to be a little bit bigger, 16 to 20 inches tall. I think what I'm going to do is actually plant them and intermingle them together, because we'll have, I think the colors will complement each other really nicely. We'll have some height difference, and just, you know, I may put I got 10 plants total. I'm just going to mix them all together, really not even pay attention to what the colors are, and just plant them in a mass somewhere. And I think they're going to be absolutely stunning together. Nice, strong, upright stems, gorgeous color on them. Your pollinators love them. Your hummingbirds love them. This is going to be a really fun 2 new additions to have in the garden. Coreopsis. Coreopsis is a great perennial. It loves the sun. It is a long bloomer. There are 4 new coreopsis that Proven Winners is introducing. And the series is called Designer Threads, because these are going to be thread-like coreopsis. Verticulata. So that's going to be kind of the bloodline of the plant. So you're going to have a very fine thread-like foliage on it. So when they said designer threads, that is kind of a wink and a nudge to the foliage on it. So 4 different colors. It really is going to depend. They're all going to kind of grow in those same kind of conditions. It really is what color suits your fancy and which one do you like. Coreopsis does love the full sun though. So the first one we have is scarlet ribbons. Again, you love that big bold red color, scarlet ribbons is going to be for you. Next we have golden needles. Golden needles reminds me more of what we would consider like a traditional coreopsis. Bright, sunny yellow petals with more of a red eye. Going to be really attractive. And then this is a fun one. Then we have this great bicolor, creamy calico. Creamy calico. It's going to have nice creamy white outer edges and then a really nice rich red, kind of a little bit on the, not pink side, but on a raspberry side of a color. And then the next one, of course, is going to be just absolutely so much fun. And the name, listen, is perfect. Heartstrings. Valentine's Day is going to be coming up here in a couple of weeks. And this just reminds me of like a sweet little Valentine flower, right? Heartstrings with that, the white on the outside and then that kind of that pinky red in the middle. Oh my gosh, it is going to be so much fun to see how these do because like I said, coreopsis typically, they love those full sun conditions and are just long time bloomers. So we're going to be very excited about that. And I believe, oh no, we have one more. We have an allium. I didn't get a tag, so I don't have a picture on it. Bobblehead. So bobblehead is going to be a fun new allium. If you're familiar with serendipity, if serendipity is famous with improving winters, right? So bobblehead is going to be different in the fact that it is going to bloom earlier, the plant size is going to be bigger, and your blooms are going to be bigger. Another big difference that you're going to notice right away is the color of the flower. Serendipity is a really deep purple, and bobblehead is going to be a nice light color. A lighter, I don't want to say pale because that sounds bad, but just a lighter purple, a lighter lavender. I personally have serendipity throughout different parts of my gardens. Alliums, of course, are deer resistant, rabbit resistant because they are onions and critters typically don't, I guess they don't like onions. So that works for us, right? But you can absolutely incorporate bobblehead and serendipity together. I think it would be stunning. Just like what I'm going to do with those penstemons is you could mix them because you're going to have different bloom times. You're going to have different height. Bobblehead will actually even start to have a little bit of a twisted leaf to it, which is really fun. And then it gives a whole different interest, especially if you have deer and rabbit issues. Find those plants that are really deer and rabbit resistant, alliums. And then there's nothing wrong with getting all these different types, all these different varieties of alliums and putting them throughout the garden. Because if you have different bloom times, you have different kind of shades of color, you have different heights, all of that works really well together. So this is going to be super fun. But yeah, we've got all of them in here. I went through all of them. Once I get the information from Walters on the ones that they sent me of their plants, I am really excited to share those. There's one in particular that I'm dying to share, but there's no picture. So I'm not going to share it until I have a picture to share with you. What we're going to do with these, they are going to stay in here. This is going to be kind of the section for our trial plants, the new introductions like the annuals that come in, and then the plants for the gardens. So we're going to be in here and section them off. We'll give them a nice little drink of water, and then basically they're going to hang out. Where am I going to put them? I probably will not put them in the signature garden this year because these are truly trial plants for me, and I want my signature garden to have the plants that I know really grow, bloom, and thrive here in North Carolina because I want them to be showpieces and really look fantastic. Not to say that next year or in the coming years we don't take these and move them to the signature garden. So these are going to end up more maybe like in the berm on either side, and then the chicken coop gardens. So those are probably, because those are really a lot of sun areas. And then of course I have my new shade garden up there at the chicken coop, so I can incorporate those plants within there. Obviously, we will keep you updated on how everybody does, and I will, as always, I will share my successes and messes with you and be very brutally honest with how these plants do, because there's no bad plants, there's just bad plant placement. And maybe some of these don't work in my climate. Doesn't mean that it's a bad plant. It just means that it's one that I can't have. Or maybe, fingers crossed, they all just do exceptionally well and we love them all to pieces. Either way, I will let you know and keep you up to date on that. Again, just a very big, broad strokes of a video here for these. I just want to share with you what's coming down the line so that you can get excited. And if you want more information, again, head to waltersgardens.com and you can read over and get, because I know I didn't tell planting zones. I know that, y'all. I don't have it with me right here. I can't remember. There's like 20-something different varieties, so sorry. Just head on over, Walters Gardens. They'll take care of you. I promise. As always, thanks so much for gardening Creekside. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.